for people who are might miss the meeting. Okay, we are in the book of Bamidbar, Numbers. We'll be going through chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tom Bradford of Torah class has really good study if you want to go through in more in-depth detail into this book. The introduction's really good. But Numbers comes from like the Septuagint. It's derived from the Latin numeri or whatever, but Bamidbar means in the wilderness. That's like the Hebrew name of the book, and I think that's a little bit more descriptive because there are some census in this, but it's not the main topic of the book, really. So it's kind of a misnomer. And it covers 38 years of the tribes of Israel's life, wandering in the wilderness. Okay, and it goes from the giving of the law to the eve of the conquest of the promised land, Israel. And it chronicles the successes and failures of the wilderness wanderings. We get stories like Balaam and Kadesh Barnea and lots of good stories that Shaul makes ample use of in his writings, referring back to lots of these events. So it's good for us to be familiar with what the emissary Shaul is referencing, or we won't know what he's talking about, right? Because he writes in 1 Corinthians 10:11, now all these things happen to them for examples, and they are written for our admonition, upon whom the ends of the world are come. And he's referring to this book. So we want to take a look at it. And there's lots of examples. It's Greek tupos, and it means a figure, an image, a pattern, a prefiguring. People familiar with my studies and stuff, I bring it up all the time. Prophecy isn't just a prophecy and a fulfillment, it's a pattern. And that's kind of the Hebrew. I think that's what was on Paul's mind. That's basically what he said. These are patterns. And we are also in our own wilderness, maybe especially those of us who are coming out of Sunday church, denominational type beliefs and moving in to our Hebrew roots homeland. And we're kind of every day in our own little wilderness trying to figure this stuff out and stuff. And I seen a study of somebody, they was kind of saying that the Israelites, well, they really didn't know what to do and they're just wandering around. But that's not why they were wandering around. And they knew exactly what they were supposed to do. Okay, they'd been given the law and everything at this point. They knew what to do. They were just avoiding it. But Yah here has them in the first chapter, has them take a census. Here is my question. Since he knows everything and he knows how many of them there are and stuff, what was his purpose in having them count themselves? Something to kind of think about. I don't really have a super good answer for that. It's something, he knows how many of them there are, but he wants them to know. So we're amassing, like I said, I've seen this thing and it was kind of talking about they didn't really know what to do, and they used to be slaves, and now they're free, and they're afraid of it and stuff. And that's kind of true. But they was kind of like making excuses for them, like they weren't sure what they were supposed to be doing. But I don't buy that. We're amassing an army here to go in a massive battle campaign to overthrow a small portion of a Middle Eastern country here. That's our mission. They've been given the law. They knew what to do on almost every level of their day-to-day walks. What to eat, what not to eat, how to do this, how to do that. They have their tabernacle, and they're getting ready, I think, to move it for the first time. And some of the Levites and families of the Levites get special assignments of how they're going to do that specifically. So it's not a big mess when they're doing it. But we get stories like, let's see, water from the rock, Balaam, the brazen serpent, all kinds of really good stories pop up in this book once Derek shuts up and we get into the book, right? Bamidbar, chapter 1. And Yah spoke unto Moshe, in the wilderness of Sinai, in the tabernacle of the congregation, on the first day of the second month, in the second year after they were come out of the land of Egypt. So it's been a year since Passover, right? And he says, verse 2, take you the sum, or a census, of all the congregation of the children of Israel after their families, by the house of their fathers, with the number of their names, every male by their polls. And that's like literally head by head, individual counting. So the second month of the second year after the Exodus, and we go to the end of the book of the 11th month of the 40th year. So around about 38 years and 10 months, give or take, by some estimates. Okay, and this event is exactly 1 month after the tabernacle was erected at Mount Sinai. We find that in Exodus 40. And 1 month from one man from each tribe was to assist Moshe, and their names appear in verses 5 through 15. Exodus 40:17, just quick recap on that. And it came to pass in the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was raised up. So if you go through all the math and everything, that's your main reference. Verse 3, from 20 years old and upward, all that are able to go forth to war in Israel, you and Aaron shall number them by their armies. And with you there shall be a man of every tribe, every one head of the house of his fathers. And these are the names of the men that shall stand with you: of the tribe of Reuben, Elazar, the son of Shadur; of Simeon, Shelumiel, the son of Zerushadai; of Judah, Nashon, the son of Amminadab; of Issachar, the tribe of Issachar, Nathaniel, the son of Zuar; of Zebulun, Eliab, the son of Helon; of the children of Joseph; of Ephraim, Elishama, the son of Ammihud; of Manasseh, Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur. That was the name of Paul's teacher. I like saying it Gamaliel, but I think Gamaliel is the actual pronunciation. Verse 11, of Benjamin, Abidan, the son of Gideoni; of Dan, Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai; of Asher, Pagiel, the son of Akron; of Gad, Eliasaph, the son of Deuel. And I'm doing these guys a huge disservice trying to pronounce their names. I apologize to them and you guys. Of Naphtali, Ahira, the son of Enan. These were the renowned of the congregation, princes in the King James, or leaders of the tribes of their fathers, heads of thousands, or the divisions in the New King James, in Israel. Okay, verse 17, and Moses and Aaron took these men, which are expressed by their names, And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared or registered by their ancestries, pedigrees in King James. After their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their polls. That's, again, literally head by head, individual counting. As Yah commanded Moshe, so he numbered them in the wilderness of Sinai. Okay, and again, like I said, the question to keep in mind is why? Because Yah knew how many of them there were already, the numbers of the hairs on their heads, even. So I think he had, it's my speculation, that he's having them count themselves so they'll feel better. Look what a huge army we have. You know what I'm saying? That I might be off on that, but keep that in mind. Think about it. Something to chew on. And I lost my place. There we go. Verse 20, and the children of Reuben, Israel's eldest son, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, by their polls, head by head, individual, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. See, we have war in sight here. They know what to do. They have the law. They know what to do day to day, and they know the mission ahead is to go into the land. When we're getting ready for, like, ever watch Braveheart or something, where they're all amassing on the hillside and the speeches, and that's kind of what I imagine is going on here. We're mustering an army. They're not just randomly standing around counting each other. We're mustering. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Reuben, were 46,500. Of the children of Simeon, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, those that were numbered of them, according to the numbers of the names, by their polls, and that's again, head by head counting, individual, every male from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Simeon, were 59,300. Of the children of Gad, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Gad, were 45,650. Of the children of Judah, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Judah, were 74,600. The children of Issachar, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Issachar, were 54,400. Of the children of Zebulun, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Zebulun, were 57,400. Of the children of Joseph, namely of the children of Ephraim, by their generations. Remember, Joseph had two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, and they were in effect adopted by Joseph and given. So we have the tribe of Joseph, which within it is actually two tribes, Ephraim and Manasseh. So you can lump them all together, or you just talk about Manasseh or Ephraim or whatever, but it's all the tribe of Joseph in the big picture of things. It's kind of too many tribes. The children of Ephraim, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Ephraim, say specifically, were 40,500. Of the children of Manasseh, we're still in the tribe of Joseph, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Manasseh, were 32,200. Of the children of Benjamin, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Benjamin, were 35,400. Of the children of Dan, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Dan, were 62,700. Of the children of Asher, by their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even of the tribe of Asher, were 41,500. Of the children of Naphtali, throughout their generations, after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war. Those that were numbered of them, even the tribe of Naphtali, were 53,400. These are those that were numbered, which Moses and Aaron numbered, and the princes of Israel, being 12 men, each one was for the house of his fathers. So were all those that were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers, from 20 years old and upward, all that were able to go forth to war in Israel. Even all they that were numbered were 603,550. Verse 47, but the Levites, after the tribe of their fathers, were not numbered among them. For Yah had spoken unto Moshe, saying, only you shall not number the tribe of Levi, or Levi, some people pronounce it, neither take the sum of them among the children of Israel. So the Levites were not counted in the census because they were exempt from military service, okay, in the sense of bearing arms. This implied in fact that they were set apart for the service of the tabernacle and all its furnishings. That was their main duty. They could erect and dismantle it, and others who touched it would die. The most famous of those stories being when David attempted to move the Ark of the Covenant on the cart and everything, and the man reached out and was struck down because they didn't do their homework in the book of Numbers. Amen. If the Ark of the Covenant resurfaces, we're going to need some experts in the book of Numbers to make sure that thing gets moved in the correct fashion. So this all might sound a little boring to us right now, but if the Ark of the Covenant was rediscovered or something, they might have to call on us to help them figure out what to do with it. That story is in 2 Samuel 6.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was studying David a long time ago with a regular church Bible study group, and we got to that story and nobody understood why. The big question was, well, why did he have to die? I don't understand. We were kind of angry that he just tried to catch it. None of us had a clue what was in here. None of us knew why. None of us could answer why, because we had no knowledge of the Torah.
And that's it. And that's like I said, that to me, it's a beautiful thing to get in here, and it's comforting to me that every tiny little detail Yah not only knows but has recorded for us, for future generations, for them, Every little spoonful of frankincense or whatever that was offered and things at special occasions is recorded forever. I think, and Yeshua said his words will not pass away. The word of the Lord will never pass away. We have copies of it on paper and stuff here, but in heaven, there's I believe, a heavenly archive of even more details than this of everyone's lives. That's my belief. But yeah, you get in here and then you start understanding a lot of these stories. And it is a shame that the man died, but at the same time, had they done their homework, see, they weren't doing their homework in Torah either. We kind of naively assume sometimes that David and all them had been doing their homework, but they might have kind of left it off too and not understood. Okay. The Levites pitched their tents adjacent to the tabernacle and the other tribes in the outer perimeter. And I imagine kind of like a very, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to it. I think when that pillar of cloud or smoke moved, it was a very orderly, everybody knew what to do, had whole families or whatever. It's my job to cover the Ark of the Covenant, and then it's his job to put the poles in and to carry it. And everybody had a job to do, probably like a modern military warship or something. When an alarm or something goes off, battle stations, everybody knew exactly what to do. And it was probably a beautiful thing to witness. They might have had the tabernacle and everything packed up, everybody, almost 1 million people on the march within an hour. And that's impressive. Okay, verse 50, Numbers 1. But you shall appoint the Levites over the tabernacle of testimony and over all the vessels thereof and over all things that belong to it. They shall bear the tabernacle and all the vessels thereof, and they shall minister unto it and shall encamp all around the tabernacle. And when the tabernacle sets forward, the Levites shall take it down. And when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levites shall set it up. And the stranger that comes near shall be put to death. And the children of Israel shall pitch their tents, every man by his own camp, and every man by his own standard throughout their armies. But the Levites shall pitch all around the tabernacle of testimony, that there be no wrath upon the congregation of the children of Israel. And the Levites shall keep the charge of the tabernacle of testimony. And the children of Israel did according to all that Yah commanded Moses, so did they. And I love those verses in there. Yah commanded Moshe, and they did everything that he said to do. Amen. We need to take heed. Did anybody have any questions, comments, revelations, insights before we move into chapter 2?
Do you know the lineage of Uzzah, the one that died touching the ark? Is he?
I do not. That would be interesting to track down. I'm guessing he wasn't a Levite.
Yeah, I want to dig into
that. But yeah, absolutely. That'd be an interesting study. He's probably recorded in Chronicles or somewhere. So, since again, we have all these very extremely detailed accounts of everybody's families and everything. It's useful. It's enlightening. And if all this is just a made up story or something, somebody had a lot of time on their hands a long time ago to make all this up with all the teeny tiny details that there are no mistakes made in. That's a miracle in and of itself. These are divinely inspired words, I believe. Numbers chapter 2, Bamidbar 2. And Yah spoke unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, every man of the children of Israel shall pitch it by his own standard, his banners, with the ensign of their father's house, far off about the tabernacle of the congregation shall they pitch. And on the east side, toward the rising of the sun, shall they of the standard of the camp of Judah pitch throughout their armies, and Nation, the son of Amminadab, shall be the captain of the children of Judah. And his army and those that were numbered of them were 74,600. And those that do pitch next unto him shall be the tribe of Issachar. And Nathaniel, the son of Zuar, shall be the captain of the children of Issachar. And his army and those that were numbered thereof were 54,400. And the tribe of Zebulun and Eliab, the son of Helon, shall be captain of the children of Zebulun. And his army and those that were numbered thereof were 57,400. All that were numbered in the camp of Judah were 186,400 throughout their armies. These shall first set forth. They'll be first on the march. And that gives it 186,400 total there. Okay, the camp of Reuben on the south side, verse 10, shall be the standard of the camp of Reuben according to their armies, and the captain of the children of Reuben shall be Elazar, the son of Shadur, and his army and those that were numbered thereof were 46,500. Okay, and I don't have any references, but I believe the symbol on the banner of Reuben was that of a man. Okay, Judah had a lion, and we'll explore more of that as we go. And those, verse 12, and those which pitch by him, camp by him, shall be the tribe of Simeon, and the captain of the children of Simeon shall be Shelumiel, the son of Zerushadai, and his army, and those that were numbered of them were 59,300. Then the tribe of Gad, and the captain of the sons of Gad shall be Eliasaph, the son of Raul, and his army, and those that were numbered of them were 45,650. All that were numbered in the camp of Reuben were 100,000, 50, and 1,000. Wait, that need 100,000, 150,000, 151,000. Is that what that King James is trying to tell me? 400, 151,450 throughout their armies, and they shall set forth in the second rank. Okay, then verse 17, then the tabernacle of the congregation shall set forward with the camp of the Levites in the midst of the camp. As they encamp, so shall they set forward every man in his place by their standards. Okay, on the west side shall be the standard of the camp of Ephraim according to their armies, and the captain of the sons of Ephraim shall be Elishama, the son of Ammihud, and his army, and those that were numbered of them were 40,500. And by him shall be the tribe of Manasseh, and the captain of the children of Manasseh shall be Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur, and his army, and those that were numbered of them were 32,200. Then the tribe of Benjamin, and the captain of the sons of Benjamin shall be Abidan, the son of Gideoni, and his army, and those that were numbered of them were 35,400. All that were numbered of the camp of Ephraim were 108,100 throughout their armies, and they shall go forward in the third rank. The standard of Verse 25, the standard of the camp of Dan shall be on the north side by their armies, and the captain of the children of Dan shall be Ahiezer, the son of Ammishaddai, and his army, and those that were numbered of them were 62,700. And those that encamp by him shall be the tribe of Asher, and the captain of the children of Asher shall be Pagiel, the son of Akrar. And his army, and those that were numbered of them were 41,500. Then the tribe of Naphtali, and the captain of the children of Naphtali shall be Ahira, the son of Enan. And his army, and those that were numbered of them were 53,400. All they that were numbered in the camp of Dan were 157,600. They shall go hindmost with their standards. For future reference, I really like to reference the ISV, the International Standard Version Bible, on when you get into these numbers and stuff, because it makes an automatic. Those guys, while they were translated from the Dead Sea Scrolls, so it's older than the Masoretic text, but also they do conversions to modern within the text. They don't talk about ephahs and all that stuff. They make a modern equivalent right into the text. Verse 32, these are those which were numbered of the children of Israel by the house of their fathers. All those that were numbered of the camps throughout their armies were 603,550. But the Levites were not numbered among the children of Israel, as Yah commanded Moshe. And the children of Israel did according to all that Yah commanded Moshe. So they camped by their standards or their banners. So they set forward every one after their families according to the house of their fathers. So we're getting a very detailed marching order and everything. So it's not a giant mess when they have to move out. It's very orderly, in a very orderly fashion. Okay. And I learned a lot from a man, Chuck Missler, and I use a bunch of his notes and ideas and stuff on stuff like this. And he's got a very weird, and I believe it because I tested it out. Every single little detail of the Bible seems to not only be prophetic of Jesus, Yeshua, but, there's like every little detail in here has some significance. So we got 186,400 in the chunk of Judah. Reuben's camp with Simeon and Gad, 151,450. Ephraim had 108,100, and Dan had 157,600. Okay, the camp of Judah was located east of the Levites, the camp of Reuben south of the Levites, and if you were to, I don't know how strict they did this, okay, but strict obedience denies camping in the area southeast. If you think like a rabbi, you can't camp southeast because there's only cardinal directions. You camp east or south or north or east. That's a possibility, okay? With each camp's, only cardinal directions are ordained. Only the width of the Levites' camp was allowed. With each camp's length proportional to population. Shabbat Shalom, Sophia. I want you to look at this, the numbers, okay? I'll show you here in a second. Judah and everybody, their banner was a lion, okay? And we have a banner with a man, that was Reuben. one with an ox and one with an eagle. Dan's was an eagle. It was first a snake. And then a guy came along who didn't like a snake. That is derived from, I think, Midrash and stuff, but mainly from the prophecies of Jacob in Genesis 49, where he says, Dan shall be like a serpent, be an adder by the way. So over the generations, they take their family prophecy, and if he's to be like a snake, then that's our symbol. You know what I mean? And Judah is like a lion, like a lion's whelp. He shall be like a lion, is what Jacob said. So that's what they took as their symbol. But once you take the numbers and stuff, you had more in Judah and about the same in Reuben and Dan and stuff. I want you to look this. If you had a magic helicopter that went back in time and was hovering over the camps, if I'm right, this might not be correct. And I know some of you think, well, but check this out. Let me see if I can, how do I look what it might look like? And that ox, man, eagle, and lion come up in like Ezekiel's vision. Mm-hmm. The seraphim with the four faces, one like a man, one like an ox, one like an eagle, one like a lion. But anyway, you know, a lot of people say, well, the cross is a pagan thing, but it absolutely was. I mean, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Of course it was. It killed the Messiah. You know what I'm saying? It is pagan. I thought that was interesting myself.
It seems like they leave a lot of ground uncovered if they camp like that. I don't love that layout.
Well,
and there was like 3 million.
Well, I don't.
Or some crazy amount of numbers.
Well, yeah, but that would be. That's just a possibility.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying that's exactly what happened.
It's cool, though.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
But you don't know how wide that would be either, how really big it would.
Well, I mean, according to that.
Might be unlikely. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, according to that drawing, it would have been, the camps would have had to stay within the length of the tabernacle, and when we know the length of the tabernacle, so that's just, I don't know. I don't love it.
It's a pretty big leap.
Hey, I did want to talk.
But it's a possibility.
Oh, completely, yeah. I wanted to talk to you about the tabernacle possibly being a circle instead of a square. Have you heard that?
I have heard that, and that's very interesting. Except for we kind of have if you go through the dimensions of it and everything, I don't know how you could come out with a circle if it has you know what I mean?
Yeah,
if
definitely.
The end of it is 120 cubits and the side of it is 200 cubits or what, you know, you're going to have a corner there somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I assumed.
I think if it was meant to be a circle, I think y'all would have gave different instructions, like, because he talks about circles. It's not like it's a foreign concept in the scripture. He would say it would be 420 cubits around, or.
Yeah. You're totally right.
That's my thought. Now, I mean, it is a possibility that we're misreading, lost something on translation, and it was a circle, and that's kind of a study on its own. But I've just seen a couple like blog posts and things that pop up about that. No real concrete It's interesting, but nothing really
Yeah, when I was
that
reading through this,
drove it home for me. Like, oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, when I was reading through this on my own, and they were given like the directions. He camps north and he camps south, and then that kind of brought back into my mind. It looks like a compass, like they were all laid out like a compass, and then that would be like the circular tabernacle, and the Levites were encamped around it. I don't know. It's just a visual.
Yeah, that's another possibility. Well, that could be a possibility for the camp layout in the place of that look the cross one that I had there, but
Yeah.
as a compass, that also could work. But I think that it's interesting. Mostly, I think it's interesting the banners, the ox, the man, the eagle, and the lion, because that comes up in Revelation and in Ezekiel, I believe.
Do
Did
you
anybody
have
else have questions, comments? Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole.
Do you have references for that?
Do I have
The
references?
Revelation and then Ezekiel?
Let me see. Somewhere. I might not have them handy.
Okay, that's
Okay, Jake. It is Genesis 49 where like the eagle and Dan being like an adder and stuff comes up. I think I got kind of sidetracked on tracking Dan through there. Let me see. I might have it in my Genesis 49.
That's okay. I can track it down too.
I need to put that in there. But it's in early Ezekiel, like chapter 2, 3, around the, no, it's not 3.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Probably, maybe chapter 2. Anybody else have questions, comments, insights, revelations? Nothing. Okay, we'll keep pressing on. Side note, I did I'd like to get together tomorrow. I know not everybody is celebrating Shavuot tonight, tomorrow, might be next weekend or whatever, but I'd like to study the passages that are connected with Shavuot tomorrow. And I made, we can change it, but I thought maybe like a 2 o'clock Eastern, that'd be 1 o'clock Central tomorrow. We'll go through Exodus 19 and 20, maybe the book of Ruth, maybe get into Acts chapter 2 and its connection to the giving of the law. For those of you who want to join, Numbers, Bamidbar, chapter 3. These also are the generations of Aaron and Moses in the day that Yah spoke with Moses in Mount Sinai. And these are the names of the son of Aaron: Nadab, the firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the priests, which were anointed, whom he consecrated to minister in the priest office. Okay, Aaron the high priest had 4 sons who were to assist him and succeed him in the sacred office, the high priest. Okay, since only Aaron and his direct descendants could serve as priests. All priests are Levites, but not all Levites are priests. We have we have different families that we're going to be dealing with in here. Only the sons of Aaron could be high priests and priests. It was impossible for them to attend to all Israel's religious needs by themselves, so the entire tribe of Levi was selected to undertake religious responsibilities. short of actual priestly ministry, the actual putting things on the altar and things. Since Aaron was a Levite, this meant that all the priests were Levites, but not all Levites were priests. Something going on in chat? I don't have the window open. Ezekiel 1, verse 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the faces.
That's our, the man, ox, eagle face. Okay. And Nadab and Abihu died before Yah when they offered strange fire before Yah in the wilderness of Sinai, and they had no children. And Eleazar and Ithamar ministered in the priest office in the sight of Aaron, their father. 2 of the 4, Nadab and Abihu, died as a result of deviating from the priestly procedures. Okay. A lot of people don't like this idea. Like, how could God do this and all this other stuff? But I like to point out he's given us all the rules and stuff, right? It's a loving warning, like we warn our children, don't run on steps, don't touch the stove, it's hot, kind of. He's merciful in that he warned us what would kill us and everything while attempting to do these things. So there's another side of that coin, if you flip it over, a merciful, loving father warning people. And it's over and over and over and over and over again in the text. If you deviate from this stuff, people die. People might not like that, but that's what the Bible says. You're not going to get away from that. If we deviate from the procedures, it will not be all right. It's not what's in their heart that matters. Nadab and Abihu, what they had on their mind and heart to do didn't matter. Okay? They didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they died. But they were warned. They had been warned. God isn't striking them down in anger. They had fair warning, probably a copy of the Torah that's that far that they could have referenced it had they wanted to. So you just can't get away from that, to me. Say good intentions are not enough. Again, our 2 Samuel 6, David and them they had a good idea. They want to move the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem and build a temple and all this other stuff, and they weren't doing things right, and people died. And Yah told David, that's a good idea, the temple, I like that, but you can't do that. You have to do things my way. So he had Solomon build it. Okay? And again, we have Romans 15:4, we have an apostolic warning here, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. And we might, if we follow the procedures and everything laid out, will be blessed for it, protected for it, and probably healthier for it. Pork and all that junk is it's full of parasites and stuff. If you eat it, you might get sick. And that's just reaping a harvest of rebellion. Honestly, and I'm not trying to judge anybody. I reap harvests of rebellion all the time. Okay. Duties of the Levites, verse 5. And Yah spoke unto Moshe, saying, bring the tribe of Levi near, and present them before Aaron the priest, that they may minister unto him. And they shall keep his charge, and the charge of the whole congregation, before the tabernacle of the congregation to do the service of the tabernacle. And they shall keep all the instruments of the tabernacle of the congregation and the charge of the children of Israel to do the service of the tabernacle. And you shall give the Levites unto Aaron and to his sons. They are wholly given unto him out of the children of Israel. And you shall appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall wait on their priest's office, and the stranger that comes near shall be put to death. So that's, again, another reference, okay? If you don't do things right, you will die. But that's a loving warning from a loving father. Do things right, or bad things will happen. And the tabernacle, if you want to review its architecture and all that stuff, you go back to Exodus 25, and pretty much the whole end of the book of Exodus from 25 on is all about the tabernacle, every detail in full. The structure, the furniture, the priesthood, the offerings are first introduced in Exodus 29, but we have more detailed accounts in Leviticus 1 through 7. Okay. And we're going to get into some of the detailed furnishings and stuff as we press forward, I believe. Verse 11, and Yah spoke unto Moshe, saying, and I, behold, have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel, instead of all the firstborn that opens the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore the Levites shall be mine, because all the firstborn are mine. For on the day that I smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, or Mitzrayim, depending on your translation, I hallowed unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine shall they be. I am Yah. Okay, the reason for the selection of the tribe of Levi is sort of reviewed here. Since the Lord Yah had spared the firstborn of Israel's children and animals in the 10th plague, he laid claim to them at the same time as his own possession. In lieu of the firstborn, however, the tribe of Levi was substituted in Exodus 13. The implementation of this principle of substitution is described in Numbers here, what we're about to go through in verses 40 through 51. Okay. And Yah, verse 14, and Numbers 3, verse 14, and Yah spoke unto Moshe in the wilderness of Sinai, saying, number the children of Levi after the house of their fathers by their families, every male from a month old and upward shall you number them. And Moses numbered them according to the word of Yah, as he was commanded. So the Levites also get numbered, but this isn't for war purposes. And these were the sons of Levi by their names, Gershon and Kohath, Merari, and these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their families, Libni and Shimei, and the sons of Kohath by their families, Amram, Izahar, Hebron, and Uzziel. And the sons of Merari by their families, Malhi and Mushai, and these are the families of the Levites according to the house of their fathers. So they're the tribe of Levi. We're within the tribe of Levi family tree, and we're getting into the cousin. We're like into cousin, little smaller portions of that tribe, divided into 3 clans, we would probably call it. Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The Gershonites were further subdivided into the Libnites and Shimeites, and numbered altogether 7,500 males a month old and up. In verses 21 and 22, right now, how we're going. Of Gershon was the family of the Libnites and the family of the Shemites. These are the families of the Gershonites. Those that were numbered of them according to the number of all males, from a month old and upward, even those that were numbered of them were 7,500. And the families of the Gershonites shall pitch behind or camp behind the tabernacle westward. And the chief of the house of the father of the Gershonites shall be Eliasaph, the son of Lael. And the charge of the sons of Gershon and the tabernacle of the congregation shall be the tabernacle and the tent, the covering thereof, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the hangings of the court, and the curtain for the door of the court, which is by the tabernacle and by the altar all around, and the cords for it for all the services thereof. So the Gershonites camped on the west and were responsible for the care of the tabernacle coverings, the hides, and the curtains, including the curtain that surrounded the outer courtyard, the big white one. Verse 27, and of Kohath was the family of the Amramites, and the family of the Azrahites, and the family of the Hebronites, and the family of the Uzzielites. These are the families of the Kohathites. In the number of all males from a month old and upward were 8,600, keeping the charge of the sanctuary. The families of the sons of Kohath shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle southward. Amram was the father of Aaron and Moses. That's recorded back in Exodus 6 and also in Numbers 26, I believe, is my reference there. And the chief of the house of the father of the families of the Kohathites shall be Eliasaphan, the son of Uzziel. And their charge, their marching orders here, shall be the ark and the table of showbread, and the lampstand, the menorah, and the altars and the vessels of the sanctuary wherewith they minister, and the hanging and all the service thereof. So the Kohathites camped on the south, and to them was the responsibility of what we would call the furniture of the tabernacle, all the little things inside. If you've seen any Rose Publishing little studies and stuff on it, the altar and all that stuff, table of showbread. Their leader was Eleazar, son of Aaron, the high priest. And Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, shall be chief over the chief of the Levites, and the oversight of them that keep the charge of the sanctuary. Of Merari was the family of the Mahlites, and the family of the Mushites. These are the families of Merari. And those that were numbered of them according to the number of all males, from a month old and upward, were 6,200. And the chief of the house of the father of the families of Merari were Zuriel, the son of Abihail. These shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle northward. And under the custody and charge of the sons of Merari shall be the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the columns thereof, and the sockets thereof, and all the vessels thereof, and all that serves thereto, all that serves thereto. I'll have to get some glasses. And the columns of the court all around, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords. And the boards, if you remember, the walls were made of smaller like boards put side by side all the way down, and then they put a bar through it to keep them together. Big gold-plated, silver-bottomed boards and pins and sockets. But those that encamp before the tabernacle toward the east, even before the tabernacle of the congregation, eastward shall be Moses and Aaron and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary for the charge of the children of Israel, and the stranger that comes near shall be put to death. And there it is again. All that were numbered of the Levites which Moses and Aaron numbered at the commandment of Yah throughout their families, all the males from a month old and upward were 22,000. Okay, the number of Levites, 22,000, whereas the total reached by the adding up of the figures in 22, 28, and 34 is actually 22,300. But the 22,000 figure cannot be a rounding off, since the 22,273 firstborn of Israel outnumbered the Levites by 273. The most satisfying solution is to suppose, we're supposing and conjecturing, that the excess 300 were themselves firstborn of Levites, who obviously cannot serve to redeem the firstborn of Israel because they are firstborn of Israel. Know what I'm saying? We got some real precision in here. Oh, Sarah joined us. Shabbat Shalom. We're in Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 3, and we're about to start verse 40. Chapter 3, verse 40 in Numbers, Bamidbar. You're absolutely welcome. Okay, so there's a little bit of a number difference here, but you can't, I think, and the conjecture is here, that the firstborn can't redeem themselves. Kind of a thing going on. Not a big deal unless you're OCD or whatever about the scriptures, as I kind of am sometimes. There's your solution. Verse 40, and Yah said unto Moshe, number all the firstborn of the males of the children of Israel from a month old and upward, and take the number of their names. And you shall take the Levites for me, I am Yah, he says, instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the cattle of the children of Israel. So in compensation for his having spared the firstborn, the males of Israel at the time of the Exodus, remember all the firstborn of Egypt died, and he laid claim to all the firstborn of Israel. This would not involve their deaths, but their lifetime service. They got drafted, recruited. A further development of this principle was the arrangement whereby the tribe of Levi would be given in service to Yah as a substitution for all the firstborn of all the other tribes. So he kind of narrows his firstborn announcement down to only the firstborn of Levi instead of the firstborn of everybody, kind of a thing going on. Questions, comments, revelations, insights?
He took all of the Levites, not just the firstborn. He claimed the Levites as his instead of the firstborn from all the Israelites, right? Verse 12, 3:12.
Right. I think what's going on is the firstborn of the Levites are like extra special selection of individuals, sort of like Nazarites kind of a thing.
Well, well, like he had the Levites numbered, and then however many more of the Israelites firstborns they had the firstborns pay the Levites, because all Levites matter, not just the firstborn of the Levites. In my understanding.
Yeah, all Levites matter, but we have a subgroup of Levites, the firstborn of the Levites.
Where are you reading that at? I'm like lost.
Okay, well, I kind of am too. Let's go back here. verses 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah, and then it talks about it in 41.
And Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, right. Let's read it again, and we're missing something here. And Yah spoke unto Moshe, saying, behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel, instead of all the firstborn that opens the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore, the Levites shall be mine. So he singled them out for service for the tabernacle, and they all each have little jobs to do within the smaller tribes, the Merarites, the Kohathites, and the Gershonites. Okay, verse 13, because all the firstborn are mine. Okay, so everybody, all firstborn among all of Israel are mine. For on the day that I smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, I hallowed unto me all the firstborn in Israel, both man and beast. Mine shall they be. I am Yah. So we have a further, okay, let's go back down here. Verse 40, and Yah said unto Moshe, number all the firstborn of the males, all the firstborn of the males of the children of Israel from a month old and upward, take the number of their names. So we're numbering all those that belong to him of all of Israel, right? And you shall take the Levites for me instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the cattle of the children of Israel. So is he?
And then down.
And Moses numbered as the Lord commanded him all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and all the firstborn males by the number of their names from a month old and upward of those that were numbered of them were 22,200 and what is
73.
73. I got a 3 score and kind of a thing going on here. Okay.
And then 45.
So we have a number of Levites. Hang on. We have a number of Levites for various services of 22,000, verse 39. And we have all the firstborn males of all of Israel of 22,273 from verse 43. This meant that there were insufficient Levites. Therefore, the 273 firstborn Israelites without Levitic redemption had to be redeemed in another way. The solution was to exact. Somebody's got some background noise going on there. A total of 1,365 silver 2-ounce shekels. Okay, so we have them all, right? We haven't cast off the firstborn of all of Israel, right?
Well,
and so we have 22,000 Levites. Sorry, you got cut off there.
He just keeps saying instead of. So instead of all the firstborns being used for his service, he's trading them out for the Levites, for all the Levites to be used for his service. And then...
Unless it's a mistranslation. Does anybody else have something there instead of? That's one reason I like everybody using all kinds of different translations.
What verse is it?
I got my Frankenstein. Where do we get the instead of?
Verse 41.
41. Instead of. Maybe it means maybe we have I know
I mean, everything.
mine and Nicole's they text our King James version, and we might have a thing here where it's not instead of, like in the place of, but like in addition to.
No, everything
Translation thing.
says instead of or in place of in like 7 different versions. So they're having to redeem.
Okay. Well.
Right? So it's not just the firstborn of the Levites, it's all the Levites. And they are being redeemed, or all the firstborns have to be redeemed by all of Israel.
Right. So here's what I got. We have 22,000 Levites, 22,273 firstborn males, of which 273 need to do a redemption.
I have the Jewish Bible
of 5 shekels each.
On the Jewish
The
Bible,
Jewish Bible says
it says, in lieu of, I have taken the Levite or Levium from among the people of Israel in lieu of every firstborn male that is from the womb among the people of Israel. The Levites are to be mine. So rather instead it says in lieu of.
Okay. Well, let's keep pressing forward, and maybe I have some notes I swiped from somebody or something that will help us make sense of this. Okay. Verse 44, and Yah spoken to Moshe, saying, okay, what?
I had a question. Why is it just for 1 month and older? What's the significance of being 1 month?
I don't know. That is a good question. That is a very good question. I have no idea. I know that's probably not very
It's okay. It was brought up. Somebody else brought it up in the past, and I was like, I don't know.
It reminds me of something.
To do?
I was going to say, wasn't Moses a month old?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
Sorry, go ahead.
Does that have something to do with the length of time that the woman has to go before she's considered clean after having a baby? Isn't it a month for boys?
That might actually be, that might be it. I
That's
remember
what I was thinking too.
There's 2 different lengths of time. It's a longer, if she has a girl, it's a longer period of time, I believe, and we talked about that when we ran across it. I don't remember where that's at. It's in Leviticus, I think, isn't? That's not a very good rundown, but yeah, it could have something to do with that.
That makes very
good sense. Thank you, Sophia.
Yes, thank you. That actually makes sense to me.
Okay, we got some stuff going on in chat. Nicole, these must be notes from, okay, the Levites of a month old could not honor God and serve the tabernacle as those who had grown up, yet out of the mouths of babes and sucklings the Levites' praise was perfected. Let not little children be hindered from being enrolled among the disciples of Christ, for such was the tribe of Levi, of such is the kingdom of heaven. that kingdom of priests. The redemption of the firstborn was reckoned from a month old. Numbers 18:15, Numbers 18:16, and also here, obviously. Therefore, from that age, the Levites were numbered. Yeah, that could be. I think we have maybe a physical, actual a month old, and then maybe we have a spirit of the law thing with the kingdom a month old thing. The notes from Nicole there. Thank you, everybody. Those are both are absolutely plausible answers to that question. Okay. Verse 44, and Yah spoken to Moshe, saying, did I read this already? Take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine. I am Yah. And for those that are to be redeemed of the 273 of the firstborn of the children of Israel, which are more than the Levites. Okay, the firstborn of Israel most likely refers only to those who were born after the tribe of Levi was established as a unit, as the priestly unit. The original statement concerning the firstborn in Exodus 13:11 through 13 clearly indicates that implementation of the command was not retroactive to the Exodus, but would come into effect in the future. Only the firstborn males who were between the time of Exodus and the setting apart of Levi about 2 years later would be counted. So a total number of 22,273 would be in line for that period of time, since there could hardly be more than that number of families that would give birth to their first sons during that time. Okay. Verse 47, and you shall take 5 shekels apiece by the pole. After the shekel of the sanctuary shall you take them, and a shekel is 20 gerahs. We have a note, editorial note. And you shall give the money, wherewith the odd number of them is to be redeemed, unto Aaron and his sons. And Moses took the redemption money of them that were over and above them, that were redeemed by the Levites. Of the firstborn of the children of Israel took he the money, 1,365 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And Moses gave the money of them that were redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons, according to the word of Yah, as Yah commanded Moses. So it kind of sounded to me like we're not really replacing the firstborn, we're augmenting. We have the firstborn males, then we have the Levites, and then a further, 273 others were also the firstborn of the firstborn of the firstborn, kind of the best of the best of the best, 273 of those. Right? Questions, comments?
I have a question.
Okay.
Verse 13. Why is it comparing it to what happened in Egypt, and what exactly was the dedication of the firstborn? What did they do?
I don't think they ever really did anything. And I think the reference was Exodus 13. Okay. firstborn of the Egyptians died, but and on the flip side, in our camp in Israel, he hallowed the firstborn of Israel. So they were set apart. I don't know, kind of to his service. I keep thinking about Nazarites.
I have a thought.
You know, Samson and those guys. Okay.
Because of what happened at Sinai and the Levites being the ones that were standing, right? I don't remember where it's at. They were the one that took God's side, basically. Is that the calf thing that happened? I'm not certain where it's at. I don't know. But so like the 12 tribes that we read about that were numbered, they were numbered for war. And then we have the Levites coming up. And instead of taking from the tribes every firstborn male for temple service, the Levites were rewarded that. So it was like an honor. That's why we have. I feel like that's why we have all of the instead ofs. It was like
That could very well be. I think you are right. It all tracks back to Exodus 32, I believe, is the golden calf incident, where Levi, the tribe of Levi, is zealous to. I might be wrong, Exodus 32, but the tribe of Levi were very zealous to dispatch people who were going out of the way of Yah, and for that they were honored. And like I talked about before, I think the original intent was for the whole nation to be a nation of priests, but because of incidents like that, maybe that specific incident, he narrowed it down where they all didn't get that honor. But it was given to Levi because of that. And I believe that's all in Exodus 32. Shall we track that down, or?
Yeah, go on then.
Sorry, what, Andrea?
Yeah, track it down.
32,
Okay.
32, 36. $32, $38.
Getting there. Where is that? Let's see. Okay, 32. I think this is where we're getting this. Exodus 32, verse 25. And when Moses saw that the people were naked, for Aaron had made them naked under their shame among their enemies. Okay, that's not a physical nakedness. We're talking something else. Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Who is on Yah's side? Let him come unto me." And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, "Thus says the Lord God of Israel, Yah Elohe Israel, put every man his sword by his side and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp and slay every man his brother and every man his companion and every man his neighbor." And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell the people that day about 3,000 men. For Moses had said, "Consecrate yourselves today to Yah, even every man upon his son and upon his brother, that he may bestow upon you a blessing this day." And it came to pass the next day that Moses said unto the people, "You have sinned a great sin, and now I will go up unto Yah. Peradventure I shall make an atonement for your sin." And it goes on. And later, somewhere, it's cited, that event is cited as a reason for Levi, the tribe of Levi, getting special mention, becoming the priests. Where that is, I don't remember. I would venture to say it's something said in Deuteronomy that we don't have a precise, you know what I mean, a retelling of. Because when Moses is retelling some of these stories, in Deuteronomy, he adds some details that we don't get in the text itself sometimes. So maybe we're not, like I said, we're not casting anybody off to the side or whatever. Maybe the tribe of Levi is getting special mention here in the numbering, and we're collecting shekels for later use, probably. Numbers 8:16 through 8, God tells Moses, "For they, the Levites, are wholly given over to me from among the children of Israel, instead of those that open the womb. All the firstborn of Israel, I have taken them for myself." So maybe we are kind of, in a way, replacing, or instead of replacing, they're being set up on a little bit higher in the councils, kind of a thing. Is that satisfactory? Or are we still hunting? Or I'll find our passage again.
I'm fine, I'm happy with that. But, oh, fighting. Sorry about that.
Oh, don't be sorry. We can't learn unless we ask questions and stuff. But I'm not super satisfied with what we've come up with so far. But
he just did it like that so they
That's what he
remember.
said.
You know, like every time
Instead,
there's a firstborn, it's like a huge thing to remember of what happened in Egypt.
that could absolutely be also. Yeah, they're special because had they been on the other side of the fence, they would have died. Right? So, as a reminder, that is a very good thought.
Exactly,
Well.
I think that's what it is actually. I'm going to take that theory and I'm quite happy with that. So I just answered my own question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have our firstborn, and it's a memorial. And had they been in Egypt, they would have died. So they're special. And also, Levi is special because of their actions and following through with what Yah told Moses to do. They chose Yah's side in the happenings, so they get special mention as well. And they're the firstborn of those are extra special, have extra special mention here. And that could be
I wonder
just
if it's got anything to do with, like, when you cross over from Egypt or from, and you accept Yeshua, you're no longer tied to death, you have eternal life. You're not going to die like the firstborn did in Egypt.
That's what I was going to bring up
could
too,
be.
is how that connects and points to Yeshua being the firstborn. That's a good point, I think.
That's what I was just getting ready to say myself.
Okay, Nicole says, I don't see where the Levites firstborn are given extra. That might be something I'm. Where am I getting that? Well, maybe that's something I just in my mind for some reason.
It might just be
I
because
think I
it
keep
kind of
connecting.
talks. It kind of
It's
talks about the first.
273. I'm sorry, Sophia. Go ahead.
No, I think mine is a little laggy, so it doesn't actually pick up you talking until after you've started for a while. I was just going to say that it's kind of confusing the way it talks about firstborn
Yeah,
and
it's
then jumps and then it goes back to firstborn and it kind of goes back and forth, so you're not real sure what it's, at least for me, I'm not real sure what it's talking about.
I think the firstborn of the Levites is something that I've interjected somehow, and I'm confusing everybody even further. Is what it is, and I apologize because kind of rereading it.
We forgive you.
Okay.
I'm joking.
I'm trying. Okay.
No, you didn't confuse.
So
No, I'm happy with the answer.
22,000 Levites. Okay, thank you. We have 22,273 firstborn of all Israel, and we have 273 of those of Israel, all of Israel firstborn, that need further redeemed. Right? And for whatever reason, Derek was in his mind thinking those were firstborn of the Levites. But
So
that's not what it says.
Then? If you're a firstborn, nothing.
Well, I would say that you and Sophia are right on track with it somehow being prophetic of us and Yeshua. Anytime we have weird complications and stuff with the scripture, the answer is usually it's there to point to him.
He was Mary's
Seems to me.
firstborn as well,
Okay.
wasn't he? He was Mary's firstborn child.
Yeah, he was. So it may be prophetic in that sense as well. He was born. Okay. Chapter 4. The Midbar, Numbers, chapter 4, verse 1. And Yah spoke unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, Take the sum of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi after their families by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward until 50 years old, all that enter into the army to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. For the Levitical ministry described here, Levite was between 30 and 50 years old. And this commentator talked about the purpose of counting the Levite males from the age of 1 month and older was purely for the sake of redemption of the firstborn of Israel. But I liked our answer better from Sophia, I believe it was. And I've heard this age of 30 thing brought up in Yeshua's ministry. He was about 30 years old, and that kind of fits in as well. Verse 4, This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things, or set apart things, depending on your translation. And when the camp sets forward, Aaron shall come and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil and the cover and cover the ark of the testimony with it specifically, and shall put thereon the coverings of Tahash. We ran across this in our tabernacle. Tahash skins. Your version might say porpoise skins or badger skins. And it's a big rabbit hole of trying to figure out what in the world kind of skins these are. Nobody really knows, okay? It's concordant Strong's number H8476. If you want to try to track all that down, I have lots of notes on it, and I won't cover here. In mine, I just put what it says in the Hebrew, a Tahash skin, because I don't know what a Tahash is, and neither does anybody else. Might be a porpoise, might be a badger, could be some kind of strange creature we don't know anymore, extinct creature. Take those skins and shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the poles thereof. Okay, so the Kohathites, who were Levites, but it's a subdivision of them, were employed. To Aaron and his sons fell the task of lowering the veil and placing it over the ark along with the hides and cloths. The reasons were to guard the ark from the gaze of human eyes, verse 20, and to protect it from the elements. The only ones who ever saw the articles that belonged in the Holy of Holies were the inner sanctuary of the tabernacle. The ark and the mercy seat were Aaron and his sons, like the high priest and the higher up of the priests. Those articles were carefully covered by Aaron and his sons before the Kohathites came to carry them. Okay. And I'll skip all my Tahash notes because that's horribly boring. It might have been a Leviathan skin. I actually tracked it down. I thought that was pretty interesting. Like a Job Leviathan, it might be a similar creature, some giant sea creature, possibly. Verse 7, and upon the table of showbread they shall spread a cloth of blue and put thereon the dishes, the spoons, the bowls. Your versions might say shovels and various trays there. Covers to cover withal, and continual bread shall be thereon, the showbread. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet, and cover the same with a covering of Tahash skins, porpoise or badger, something skins, and shall put in the poles thereof. And they shall take a cloth of blue and cover the lampstand or the menorah of the light, and his lamps and his tongs and his snuff dishes and all the oil vessels thereof, whereof they minister unto it. And they shall put it and all the vessels thereof within a covering of Tahash, porpoise, badger skins, and shall put it upon a bar. I think one version might even say gazelle skins. And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue and cover it with a covering of Tahash skins, and put to the poles thereof. And they shall take all the instruments of ministry wherewith they minister in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of Tahash skins, and shall put them on a bar. Quick side note question to maybe ponder on. Would anybody die if they use the wrong collar cloth to cover things? I don't know. I find it strange that even the collar of these things are specified. And they shall take away the ashes from the altar and spread a purple cloth thereon, and they shall put it all the vessels thereof, wherewith they minister about it, even the censers, the flesh hooks, and the shovels and basins, all the vessels of the altar, and they shall spread upon it a covering of Tahash skins, and put the pole of it. And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is to set forward, everybody, I think, after that, the sons of Kohath shall come to bear it, but they shall not touch any holy thing, lest they die. These things are the burden of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation. So when everything had been prepared by the priests, the high priest and the priests, the Levites, specifically the Kohathites, come in and transport everything, being extremely careful not to touch any of the objects, lest they die. Verse 15. Verse 16, and to the office of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest pertains the oil for the light, and the sweet incense, and the daily grain offering, and the anointing oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, and of all that therein is, in the sanctuary and in the vessels thereof. So Eleazar was the foreman of the whole, and oversaw the entire procedure, and double check the oils, incense, and grains were handled properly. Verse 17, and Yah spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, cut you not off the tribe of the families of the Kohathites from among the Levites, but thus do unto them, that they may live and not die when they approach unto the most holy things. Aaron and his sons shall go in, and appoint them every one to his service and to his burden. But they shall not go in to see when the holy things are covered, lest they die. And here we get into the Gershonites, which is another subdivision of the Levites. And Yah spoken to Moses, saying, take also some of the sons of Gershon throughout the houses of their fathers by their families from 30 years old and upward until 50 years old shall you number them, all that enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. This is the service of the families of the Gershonites, to serve and for burdens. And they shall bear the curtains of the tabernacle and the tabernacle of the congregation, his covering and the covering of the Kahash, badger, porpoise, gazelle skins that is above it, above upon it, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. So the Gershonites are transporting the non-wooden parts of the tabernacle and the outer court, basically. And Ithamar would be their foreman. And the hangings of the court and the hanging for the door of the gate of the court, which is by the tabernacle and by the altar all around, and their cords and all the instruments of their service and all that is made for them, so shall they serve. At the appointment of Aaron and his sons shall be all the service of the sons of the Gershonites and all their burdens and all their service, and you shall appoint unto them in charge all their burdens. This is the service of the family of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation, and their charge or duty shall be under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest, their foreman. Okay. Questions, comments? We'll keep moving. As for the sons of Merari, you shall number them after their families by the house of their fathers from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old shall you number them. Everyone that enters into the service to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. The wood and metal parts of the tabernacle complex were delegated to the Merarites. Ithamar was supervisor of this part of the tabernacle transportation as well as the non-wooden parts, and that comes up in verse 33. And this is the charge of their burden, according to all their service in the tabernacle of the congregation, the boards of the tabernacle and the bars thereof, and the columns or posts thereof, and the sockets thereof, and the columns or posts of the court all around, and their sockets and their pins and their cords, with all their instruments and with all their service. By name you shall reckon the instruments of the charge of their burden. This is the service of the families of the sons of Merari, according to all their service in the tabernacle of the congregation, under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron, the priest. And Moses and Aaron and the chief of the congregation numbered the sons of the Kohathites after their families and after the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, everyone that enters into the service for the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. And those that were numbered of them by their families were 2,750. These were they that were numbered of the families of the Kohathites, all that might do service in the tabernacle of the congregation, which Moses and Aaron did number according to the commandment of Yah by the hand of Moses. And those that were numbered of the sons of Gershon throughout their families by their house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, everyone that enters into the service for the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. Thank you, Nicole. I think she put a Strong's reference in there for burden in chat. Even those that were numbered of them throughout their families by the house of their fathers were 2,630. These are they that were numbered of the families of the sons of Gershon, of all that might do service in the tabernacle of the congregation, whom Moses and Aaron did according to the commandment of Yah. Okay, I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to check out what Nicole posted in there. And those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari throughout their families by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward unto 50 years old, everyone that enters into the service for the work in the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them after their families were 3,200. And these be those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the word of Yah by the hand of Moshe. And all those that were numbered of the Levites, whom Moses and Aaron, the chief of Israel, numbered after their families and after the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, everyone that came to do the service of the ministry and the service of the burden in the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them, were 8,580. According to the commandment of Yah, they were numbered by the hand of Moses, every one according to his service and according to his burden. Thus were they numbered of him as Yah commanded Moses. So the wood and metal parts of the tabernacle complex were delegated to the Merarites. Ithamar supervised. The total number of Levites involved here is 8,580, which is 2,750 Kohathites, 2,630 Gershonites, 3,200 Merarites, which gives us a total of 22,300 Levites. Oh, where did I get lost? Massa, translated a burden, King James Version. Right, it's not a bad thing or a hard thing, because Brown's Driver Briggs has it load, bearing, tribute, burden, or lifting, lifting upward, uplifting, tribute, utterance, oracle. Oh, that's used kind of like in the minor prophets. Minor because they're smaller books, not because of importance. The burden of the Lord, the burden of the word of the Lord. Yes, it is interesting, and I like to, part of the reason mine is not a proper translation, but I'm trying to make as one that's a little bit more specific, a translation for my own self and studies and stuff, and change words like burden to more, maybe a little bit more descriptive word in some places. Like when our English translations say peace, most of the time it's shalom, and shalom means more than just lack of conflict. It's an inner completeness and stuff too. So we can get a little bit more, I think it's mainly not the fault of translators, but the English language is redundant, really. I mean, we got one thing can have we call it 6 different things, and when you try to describe something like love, we just have one word, love. But like Greek and Hebrew, they have there's like 4 or 5 different words for love, different kinds of love. Family love, divine love, like a lust love, you know what I mean? And I think it's mainly the fault of our language. English is just not very descriptive. It's good for poetry and stuff, but it's just not as descriptive as Hebrew and Greek. So I'm glad Yah chose those languages to do his scriptures in, because we find insights like that in there. Questions, comments, insights? As a reminder, I would like to get together with whoever wants to tomorrow. I know not everybody's celebrating Shavuot tonight and tomorrow like we are, and that's okay. We all have a different understanding of the calendar and stuff, and we're learning. But I would like us all to get together and study some of the texts that are usually studied around the time of Shavuot, like Exodus 19 and 20, the giving of the law, its connection to Acts 2. I think Sophia posted a good blog post or something, maybe on her own page, about its giving of the law, the connection to the tongues of fire and everything in Acts 2. I think it's fascinating. I totally stole that and put it in my notes. So in case the internet ever goes down, I still have that information. But Acts 2, Exodus 19 and 20, and the book of Ruth. Also have videos. I'm doing full detailed study of the book of Ruth, posting in the group. But tomorrow it will be 1 o'clock Central. I don't think anybody's on Mountain Time. Andrea, I have no idea. It might be like 9 o'clock in the morning, or I don't.
Well,
I need to do
on a Sabbath, your meeting is always 3 o'clock for me. So is that 5 hours different?
3 o'clock.
Yeah, every Saturday it's 3 o'clock my time.
Okay, then the meeting would be like 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
1 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. If you want to, come and join us. Let's close out with a word of prayer, and I'm going to get out of here and maybe get something to eat and put some kids to bed. Okay, all. And I talked to Moses and Elijah, and they said maybe that they'll tell the story of the giving of the law. So we might have a new Moses and Elijah video tomorrow from those guys, silly guys. But let's close with a word of prayer.
Ever since they joined the group.
You what?
I can't get that song out my head ever since they joined the group for some reason.
There's a song?
Yeah, poor old Elijah, that poor wooden head or something. I know the tune, but I don't know the words.
Huh. I've never heard it, I guess. I'll have to look it up. But let's bow our hearts for a word of prayer and close out.
I want to see Moses.
Father God, we thank you so much for each other. We thank you for fellowship. We thank you for your Sabbath rest. We thank you for your word and everything you do for us and give to us. Most of all, we thank you for your sacrificial son, Yeshua, who died that we might live. Help us to learn and grow in faith and knowledge of our Messiah, our coming King, Yeshua HaMashiach, in whose name we do pray. Amen. Amen. Was somebody saying something? Did I hear Little Joe?
Yeah.
Who was that?
I want to see Moses and Elijah.
You want to see Moses and Elijah? Well, they told me they might be around tomorrow with a new video about where the 10 Commandments came from. How about that?
Good. You told Joe hi?
Hi.
Love you all.
Hi. I betcha.
Tell him.
This little fellow.
It's Kristen.
You
And
are
Sherry.
little true.
Hey, you're being ugly, stop.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, it's
I love
nice
you
to
all.
say that to people.
Thank you for joining me.
Bye, thank you.
Here.